Hello everyone, my name is Rizal Tony, or better known here and around the world as Rizal Tony. I come from Klang basically, and I'm actually half Portuguese and half Malay. During my childhood years, I was so engrossed into becoming a sports person. So I was like really concentrating on soccer, and I've been playing for the States since 1990 until 1998. After a big injury that affected my life, then I decided to pursue music as a passion and as a career. That part, it's a big change for me. I know my dad plays music as well, but I do think that I'm not sure whether or not I have the tendency or the passion to play music at that point of time. But then I tried to follow my gut instincts, and right now here I am. Okay, now the first time I saw this advertisement in the newspaper, and it said about UiTM that time, and they had an advertisement saying that who wants to enter music, you can come for audition and interview. At that particular time, I was studying marketing at Stanford College, so I thought, why not give it a try? So then I called my dad. I can still remember this very clearly. I called him and said, "Hey Dad, can you come and teach me a few chords or a few scales so that I can go for interview?" And he said, "Why not? I can come here and teach you." That time I was staying outside from home lah. And then one fine afternoon he came to me and he just took the guitar and brought the guitar for me actually, and then he started to show me a few chords. That time holding even the C major 7 was like really bloody difficult. But then I started focusing on a few things, a few small things, but trying to make a big impact out of it. And one fine moment after 2 weeks, and then I sent my forms, the usual stuff, blah blah blah, and then I went for the interview. To a surprise, I can still remember this clearly. The interviewer was Dr. Andes Yusba Jelani. He's Indonesian, he's a composer and a conductor. And then he started coming to me and said, "Hey, why not you show your hands?" And I was wondering, why do I have to show my hands, my length, my arm length and all? And he said, "Wow, you have the hands of a musician." I said, okay, I don't quite understand that, but I just went on with the interview. And later part, I went for the, they call it the oral training, the ear test. And they started testing my ears, giving me pitch and pianos and rhythms. And to a surprise also, they was, I can see their faces, they was like looking towards each other and said, and just like doing like that. I didn't know what it meant. They said, "Okay, why not you play your instrument?" And coming back to the guitar thing, the C major 7, I started playing the whole bunch of chords my dad taught me. And then, of course, that time I tried to sing, and to my amazement, they were also like very surprised and amazed with this, and they were smiling, big smiles on their faces. And then they said, "Let's go to the third room for the interview." I said, okay, I'll just go. And then suddenly, all of the lecturers from all the rooms came in there, and they sat down in one big line, one big row of line. And then they said, "Hey, did you have any formal music training?" I said, I literally tried to play the guitar in a 2 week time frame. And they was like, "Oh, really? Oh, but you played like as if you're playing it for 2 years at least." I said, "No, I want to be honest. It's just only 2 weeks." And they said, "Yes. And if you want to know, your ear training scores are all correct." And I was like, okay. What do you mean by correct? You scored everything right. I said, "Okay, thank you very much," I said. And then I said, "Okay, why not you go and get some formal training?" And that time I didn't know that formal training can bring you to a higher level. But then I said, never mind. I didn't have enough money at that time. I said, never mind, I'll just wait until UiTM calls me, if at all they call me to come in. And one fine day I got the letter, and that's when the whole journey started. And I started to get into semester 1, semester 2, and I still didn't know what I was doing at that particular time, because I was being asked to do classical guitar. And at that moment of time, you know, as somebody who comes in from a zero background, and of course at that time I was merely 19 years old going to 20, so which means that is the first formal education that I had. And I went in, I had to do classical guitar. I no offense, it's not that I don't like it, but then you know, when you come in, you wanted to do something and then you are being asked to do something else, you feel a bit, okay, you know, should I do it or should I not? But the requirement says that you have to do training, a formal classical guitar training for 1 semester at least. And I said, okay, why not give it a try? In that moment of time even, we had to do a second instrument, which is a minor instrument. So I always wanted to play the saxophone. You know, I want to choose to play the saxophone. But that time, they didn't have any saxophone instructors. And said, no, you got to do the clarinet again. You know, you wanted to play saxophone and, oh, I got to do clarinet. Never mind, let's just give it a try. And that moment of time, I think there's no point in turning back. I'm already inside here. And I was being told during the audition that I had great scores in my oral skills and whatnot. I said, let's give it a try. And the minute I started to get involved with music, the more I learned, the more I started to feel like, hey, you know, there's a lot to offer. Music has a lot to offer. And I think, you know, starting from that moment of time, I do think that, you know, as we go along, we try to find things that we like the most, things that we are passionate about. And I feel that music has a lot to bring in a human being. That's what I think. And of course, a lot of other details that I wish I can talk to, but I think it is best that during school years, my point will be, you know, try to learn all the things that you can, even though it doesn't relate so much to music. And it changed me a lot in my perceptions, my articulation, the way that I speak even, and the way that I communicate. It really changed me through music. Being in UiTM taught me a lot of things. Firstly, I just want to tell you that I am a UiTM alumni and I teach at UiTM. I think at my condition, at my status right now, I will be one of the people who says UiTM di hatiku lah. During my time as a student, I think if you want to talk about being better or being, you know, or the bahasa Melayu dia terror lah, you know, terror. I don't think so. We practice just to show our friends that we are better than him or better than her. I think one of the reasons we practice is for everyone to feel the joy and to feel the happiness of playing music. That's number one. And you know, by playing music, what I'm trying to say now is that nowadays people tend to classify. Even in fact, last time also they classify all that. But then during my time, I think it is not so, or it was not so obvious. During our time, if at all, let's say I don't come from a really rockish background. You know, my dad plays, you know, all this, you know, Grand Funk Railroad, maybe some Deep Purple and all, and AC/DC, you know. I listen, I play all that. But then my friends encourage me, especially, you know, hey, you know, maybe you want to come and listen to us play so that you know what type of repertoire that you need to know for rock. And that's not only rock. That time, you know, I am involved in almost all the ensembles. It's whether it's traditional music, whether it's keroncong, whether it's reggae, whether it's funk, whether it's what do you call now? Last time it was R&B, now you have R&B and hip hop and all those stuffs. And of course, my personal favorite would be jazz. But then that during my time even, jazz was not really the item or the product that UiTM produces. It was more or less a balance of all genres, and that's why maybe we don't classify that. And that's why when we practice, we do practice to get it at least musically or feelingly close to that particular genre. And I must say this, during my time, we didn't have enough money. Financial constraint was the issue. And I would not waste your time talking about whether we eat or whether we drink or whether we don't eat or whether we don't drink. But it was a great struggle back then, because during 1990s going to year 2000, we had what we call that, an economic conflict since 1997. So I think all my parents, they were going through some kind of financial deficit. But never mind, that's besides the point. But what I'm trying to tell you is, even though we had constraints, we didn't care. We wanted to, not to say achieve, we wanted to become good at doing something, but not to become better than the other. It's just try to be good at something. And I do feel that nowadays, students nowadays, I think you must understand this. If you think that you have gone through enough, think again. Because even at my point now, I am still trying to learn, I am still trying to adapt, I am still trying to achieve certain things that I know that I'm capable of doing. And it is not about, like, being cool about it. It is not about being so hip about it. It is about you trying to learn the craft, trying to understand the craft, trying to be able to achieve the best thing out of what you are able to do. And you don't lie to yourself. If you think that you have a certain particular style that you like, go ahead, no problem. But also try to appreciate other music as well. And it is pointless that you are trying to talk about your music and you have none. You have no appreciation for others. I don't think, it's meaningless if you do that. And right now, students also, they spend their time trying to figure out their life. But I think it is plain easy. If you like something, if you want to know about something, you just spend your time there. There's no point saying, hey, I like music, but then you only spend your time for music. I think only, 1 hour of your life out of 24 hours. I don't think that's right. I think if you like what you do, don't matter whether it's music, arts, or any other subjects or any other interests, I think you should spend a lot of time trying to learn the craft. And nowadays, it's even better. Last time, when we wanted to transcribe or we wanted to listen to a recording, last time we had radio cassettes. And we didn't have enough money to buy even batteries. So you know what we did? We took a pencil and then we rewind the tape so that we have the chance to continue listening to it until we understood what it meant, at least. And nowadays, I think students, they don't want to spend time, they don't want to be difficult, they don't want to spend their life trying to figure out the real meaning of whatever they want to try to achieve. It's a matter of only touching the surface. That's the thing. When you always want to touch the surface, it's pointless. Because number one, you will forget easily. Number two, you will not have a better, proper understanding for you to even be able to explain it to others. And number three, you won't be passionate at all. I tell you this. If you don't trust me, you can ask a lot of other professional musicians, the one that has gone through all of it, and I can safely say the story will be more or less the same. And to you students of universities or any college student trying to pursue music as a career, mark my words, there is no shortcut. The only thing that you must do is to be able to practice hard, work hard, sacrifice time, sacrifice your effort, and sacrifice any means possible for you to be able to get it right, to get it the best out of your own musical ability. Struggles. Well, a lot of us have got to go through all struggles in life, whether it's about you trying to decide what you want in life, whether you try to decide on how you want to deal with your life. But in terms of music, I have my own struggles too, as as other people have it too. During my degree years, I have to admit that sometimes you fall into the trap of being complacent and being monotonous, which means that as you go along practicing and doing stuff, you feel that there's a point whereby it's not going anywhere. So you think, okay, maybe I am comfortable with what I'm doing right now, because at that moment of time I start getting a lot of gigs, I start getting a lot of opportunities to play, and then you start feeling, hey, I'm already okay, I don't have to deal with other struggles, or I don't have to deal with other hardship. To my own experience, I must share this. And at that moment of time, when I was already working in UiTM that time, I started to think that, hey, I shouldn't stop here, I should progress. And that's when I think about doing or going somewhere else further. And I thought the best thing at that moment of time is for me to be able to do the master's degree. And I was so passionate about performing, although I teach a lot and I educate a lot, but I'm so passionate about performing, I decided, hey, I'm already okay. Why not, test myself or just go and do performance. And at that moment of time, I thought it's just a matter of, from degree, just jumping into performance. And I applied. Not in Malaysia, I applied to several places elsewhere, in the UK, in the US, and in Australia. But I finally got into a place, that time, it was the Australian National University in Canberra, Australia. People don't know that the Australian National University is actually, during that time, #1 in Australia for the music program, and #4 in the world across the university rankings. And I thought, well, I can survive in UiTM. Why? It's just another story, another simple story. I just go and do my masters. But unfortunately, when I reached there, something devastating happened. And it's not that I met an accident or what. It's not about that. But then, when I went there, thinking that I am already comfortable, thinking that I'm already okay, suddenly, when I reached there, I went to my first lesson, I felt demotivated. Now, why is that? It's very simple. I thought I was okay. I thought it's just a matter of just going to get another certificate, but it's a different ball game. To be honest, the first 3 months was really, really crucial. I felt like I had no hope, because of the playing level, because of the academic level, because of the communication level, and the culture itself. And I thought by practicing 2 hours a day back in UiTM was enough. And wow, it hit me hard on my face. It hit my ego very, very hard. I always checked on the flight tickets going back to Malaysia for the first 3 months, to be honest, because I really felt that it is too depressing for me to be there. Because every time I enter ensemble class, every time I enter principal study, or you call it your instrument class, I didn't feel that it was enjoyable. it was so stressful. Why? Because they expect you to be of this level, and you thought you are already at that level, but instead you are just here, very low. And that hit me hard. Again, I want to repeat myself. I browsed the internet to get the ticket flight back home for the first 3 months. I was thinking, should I go home? Should I not? Should I go home? Should I not? Even having the idea of practicing 8 hours a day was really taxing, because I didn't have that culture of practicing that long. And the first 3 months was really terrifying. I felt like it was so sad. I felt so bad. I felt the guilt, actually, because I thought that, hey, maybe, in Malaysia I'm alright, So when I went there, it opened my eyes, it opened my entire perspective of life, it opened my entire perspective of music. And that moment of time, I didn't go under any scholarship at all. I just went there, decided to get all the money we had in the bank, all resources. We got it, and then we went there just for a reason to learn. And the struggle is painful. I admit that. It was never enjoying, at least for the first 3 months. And I do feel that even though the teachers there or the professional musicians there are really helping, it's about you, it's about us actually, it's about ourselves. We are the ones who were playful, and we were the ones who thought that we are okay, or we are alright, we can survive, but in the end, it's not. It is not appealing at all, And I think that in my understanding, you have to sacrifice a lot just for you to be able to tell yourself that you are getting there, not you are okay. You are just trying to get there, reasonably get there. Being an educator myself, and being a performer myself, and trying to be a guitarist myself, I think I have high hopes for everyone, for every student, for every musician in Malaysia. And I do think that my hopes are genuine, and my hopes are being the best of faith lah. And I really think that as musicians in Malaysia, we have got to be very focused in whatever we do. And I hope we can start off at the earliest stage in our point of being a musician. That is being a student, or when you start taking your instrument and start taking your passion more seriously. In a more serious note, I think that all musicians in the education world, in the industry, individuals, we must try to support each other, and we must try to bring up all the best aspects in life, all the best things that Malaysia has to offer. And I do think that me, myself, we have so much to learn, and we have so much to grasp. But let this be a collective thing, so that everybody will try and support each other. It doesn't matter what type of music you play, it doesn't matter where you play, it doesn't matter what level you have achieved. It's just a matter of trying to be a whole, like a nation of musicians, trying to become the best of what you are, trying to become the best out of your musical abilities, trying to achieve as an ensemble, and trying to understand the perks and challenges of being a musician in Malaysia, so that everyone will understand. And to be able to take this to a whole new level, I think the support must also come from the community, the support must also come from the education system, and the support must always come from the ministry. I think the ministry will play a big role in making sure all of this comes up to an achievable level to a global expectation level, so that when we say out things and we fly high. If we jump high. If we fall also, we don't fall too low. And it is best that all of us, and it is all of our responsibilities to make sure that everyone, every single life that wants to pursue music as a career, who wants to pursue music as a passion, who wants to make music as a living, will try to, at best, improve whatever things they have now and try to achieve the best and try to become the best. Not to become better in terms of trying to show that I am better than you or what. It's just a matter of trying to bring out the best so that everybody can enjoy the moments, everybody can enjoy the benefits of art and music in Malaysia. I rest my case.